Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to the Indian Council of Historical Research sponsored national seminar on the unsung heroes of freedom struggle of India with special reference to northern bank of Brahmaputra. We extend a hearty welcome to all of you to the valedictory session. So, I invite our Honorable Principal, Dr. Balabina Brahma, to please come over the dais, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our request. Now, I would like to invite our Honorable Vice Principal, sir, Dr. Shivu Bashar, to come over to the dais, sir. Now, I would like to invite our chief guest of the valedictory session, Dr. Subum Basmatari, Registrar, Bodoland University, to come over to the dais, sir. I would also request Dr. Ainam Ranjit Singh, sir, to please come over to the dais. I would also request Dr. Sudev Chandra Basumatari, sir, to please come over to the dais. Thank you. So now we are proceeding towards the welcome dance, which will be performed by Sangeeta and her group. So please stay back and enjoy the performance.
शुभं गुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदम्
Thank you, Sangeeta and her group, for the mesmerizing act. Now we will be proceeding towards the next leg of our felicitation program, which is felicitating the guests. And we would begin with felicitating our chief guest, Dr. Subong Basmatari, Registrar, Bodoland University, and so will be felicitated by the Honorable Principal of Kokrajhar Govt College, Dr. Banabina Brahma. And he will be felicitated with an Aronai, Gamusa, Horai and the kit. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Anjali Basmatari madam from the Department of Physics to please come over to the dais, ma'am. Thank you, madam. We will continue with our felicitation ceremony. So next we will felicitate our Honorable Principal, Dr. Banabina Brahma, with an Aronai. And she will be felicitated by Panasri Bharatwaj, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science. Philosophy, sorry, I repeat. So, next we have our Vice Principal, Sir, Dr. Sibu Bosak, and he will be felicitated by Jayashree Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science. This time I got it right, I guess. So next, we will be felicitating Dr. Oinam Ranjit Singh Sir with an Aronai. And he will be felicitated by Ms. Rangili Brahma from the Department of Political Science. So next we will be felicitating Dr. Sudev Chandra Basmatari, Head Department of History, Bodoland University, and he will be felicitated by Dr. Rajiv Saha from the Department of Bengali. So we will be felicitating our respected Madam Anjali Basmatari, and she will be felicitated by Banasri Bharatwaj Madam from the Department of Philosophy.
Not political science.
So we will move ahead. Next we have address by chief guest. So I request Dr. Subong Basmatari, Registrar of Bodoland University, sir, to please come.
So, good evening, everyone. Honorable Chairman of this valedictory function of National Seminar sponsored by ICHR, respected resource person coming from different universities and colleges, respected teaching staff of this college, my dear student friends. So today I am very happy to be back to my own college where I studied 39 years back. In the year 1983, 84, the early part of 85. So I don't think that you will feel boring if I share something about the association that I had with this college. Actually, I did my pre-university course from this college only, and I was staying in the college hostel just nearby only. And at that time, Sir Daniram Musumtari was the principal. And after passing out my pre-university, again I got admitted in BA courses also. While I was studying the BA, I was selected as a General Secretary of Student Union Body of this college. But I'm very sorry to inform you that I could not complete my terms of General Secretaryship of 1 year. That's because on the halfway, I was shifted to the other college by the family members for the reasons best known to them. So I could not finish my BA course from this college. So this is how I was associated with this college. Anyway, thank you very much. At the same time, I would like to congratulate all the members of organizing committee for successful organizing this seminar, national seminar sponsored by the ICHR. And at the same time, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the organizing committee for inviting me to be a part of this seminar during valedictory function. So the national seminar of the theme Unsung Heroes of Freedom Struggle of India, with special reference to the northern bank of Brahmaputra, was started yesterday, and today is the last, and this is the last program, that is valedictory function, where I'm standing right now. Yes, it is learned that so many resource persons, they've come and presented papers, and of the papers, by now, our organizing committee have got so many findings, important findings, which will be very much beneficial for the students, upcoming students. And I hope these findings will, in terms of messages, will pass on to the people of different fields for their informations. As you know that India is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to commemorate its 75 years of progressive independence. The movement, the struggle that took place to free India from the foreign rule has been a long story of heroic achievements. Many people sacrificed their lives for freedom of India. It was not merely a political rise, but for freedom from oppression of the foreign rule in all walks of life. Many people from every nook and corner of the country involved themselves and even sacrificed in freedom struggle. The supreme sacrifice and selfless spirit of these freedom fighters cleared the way for independent India. But unfortunately, in the recorded history of India, India's freedom struggle, a large number of freedom fighters' contributions are missing. And at the same time, the history of India's true freedom struggle is incomplete without these unsung heroes. These unsung heroes should also be recognized by the people for their contribution in making India free from foreign rule. To recognize the contribution of these great sons and daughters of our country who sacrificed their life for freedom of India, now India is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. In this connection, a series of programs are being organized on the theme Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to give a due respect and recognition to the unsung heroes of unsung freedom fighters of India. In this regard, the northeastern part of India is no exception. We northeastern people are also having so many unsung freedom fighters who involved themselves and contributed a lot in launching a freedom struggle. And along with the northeastern part of India, the northern bank of Brahmaputra, mainly dominated by the people by SD people, especially the Bodos. is also having some unsung heroes who also involve and indulge themselves in launching freedom struggle, and they should be remembered with due respect and recognition. So we are very much proud of them. We salute from our bottom of our heart, and at the same time we pray to the God for the souls of the unsung heroes, so that their departed soul may rest in peace in the heavenly abode. So lastly, at this moment, I am very much thankful to the principal of this college, Dr. Bonabina Brahmo, and the coordinator of this national seminar, Dr. Susanto Narzari, for organizing this national seminar in connection with the ongoing celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and also for inviting me to this national seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, we will be moving towards the address by guest of honor, and that will be done by Professor Oinam Ranjit Singh, sir.
Thank you very much. I will make very short. The learned, respected dignitaries on the dais, my learned friends who are sitting in front of me, and my dear students, it is a great privilege for me to be here, because I have been associated in Bodoland University for a long time, and I was also the member of the BHARATIYA ITIHAS SANKALAN SAMITI of the Kokrajhar branch. So when I was in Bodoland University, now I became the vice president of the Manipur branch of the BHARATIYA ITIHAS SANKALAN SAMITI, and I work in different levels. First of all, I congratulate the organizing committee of these national seminars for giving me such opportunity to visit the Bodoland again. Thank you, madam, and thank you, Dr. Govt sir, and Sujat and other my colleagues. This one actually regarding the unsung hero. We are talking about the unsung hero, and we are trying to find out those leaders who sacrificed their life for the sake of their motherlands. But it is a great difficult for the historians to find out, to trace out those unsung heroes, which are the unsung, which are not the unsung. But we have to apply the historical tools, historical methods. But it is a very difficult task for the historians to find out the fact from the facts. Because there are many fictions also, there are many hearsays also, but we cannot write all those fictions as a history. So, subjective matter of the history we have to avoid at any cost, and on the objectivity of the history, we have to write the history. If we write a good history on the basis of the indigenous source, the making comparisons with the other sources like the British sources or any sources, that will be a good history. And some argue that if the evidences are fact, that conclusion also fact. But as a historians, what we have to do, we have to act as a judge of the High Court or Supreme Court, and all the evidences should be as advocates of the different sides. So with these few words, I once again congratulations the organizing committee and the principal madam and my colleague or respected registrar of the Bodoland University, newly joined. I congratulate you, sir, again here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now we will be proceeding towards our next agenda. That is, I would like to request our Honorable Principal, Dr. Banabina Brahma Madam, to speak few words on this occasion.
Honorable Chief Guest of today's valedictory session, the newly appointed Registrar of Bodoland University, Dr. Subham Musmatari, sir, Honorable Resource Person from Manipur University, Oina Ji, and our Vice Principal, Dr. Shibu Bosakji, HOD of History, Portland University, Dr. Sudeb Basmatari, HOD Physics, Kokrajhar Govt College, Mrs. Anjali Basmatari, my dear colleagues and my dear students, and the participants in this seminar from different colleges and different universities. We have come to the concluding part of 2 days seminar on the unsung heroes of freedom movement with special reference to northern bank of Brahmaputra. During this two-day session, a lot of new papers had come up, and we came to know about some unknown heroes, so far unknown to us, who have sacrificed their life, their youth maybe, for the attainment of independence from the colonial rule. From the papers Dr. Sudeb Basmatari had presented, we came to know about Narayan Chandra Das, who is very much neighbor, but so far we didn't know about him. So his name has come up, and I do believe that hereafter we will be able to give him due recognition in the history, and we will be able to pay him due respect. And like that, maybe I didn't have the time to listen to all the papers, but I do believe some new faces, new unsung heroes have come up during this seminar. So when we publish all the papers after this seminar, we'll get to know a lot of new faces who has come up as a result of this seminar. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank the Indian Council of Historical Research for giving us financial assistance to conduct this seminar. And I would also like to thank the BHARATIYA ITIHAS SANKALAN SAMITI, ASSAM branch, for assisting us in this seminar. We are indebted to them also, and I'm also thankful to all the resource persons who have come all the way from other parts of India to attend this webinar. We had participants from Tripura, we had participants from I think West Bengal also, and from Manipur we had resource persons. So I'm thankful to all of you, and I do believe that we will continue this kind of cooperation. So we will get to, we seek your cooperation in future also. And I would like to thank the organizers of this seminar, especially coordinator Sushanta Narjari, Bonasri, and all her team, Gautam and Bimal, all had worked tirelessly and make this 2-day seminar a great successful one. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, madam, for your words of inspiration. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Vice Principal, Sir, Dr. Shibu Bosak, to share his thoughts. So, please.
Good evening, everybody. Respected principal, respected chief guest, and the resource person who have delivered their lectures in the national seminar, my dear colleagues and my dear students. This national seminar, I think it is in true sense it becomes a national one, because the different participants from different parts of India have come here to deliver their lectures in the form of papers. So what is done in this national seminar is to explore the unsung heroes, and it is a very tough thing because there is no proof or evidence in the hand. So it is very difficult to write also with giving full evidence, and only by making a story it cannot be a history. So to establish the history, certainly some evidence are necessary. So I hope that this conference will give you a way to write these types of paper, these unsung heroes, and I hope that the proceedings of this seminar will be a valuable one. And with thanks to everybody, I conclude my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gopadas Talukdar. So here we are for the distribution of certificates. Today, as many as 12 numbers of participants presented their seminar papers on different topics. But in this valedictory session, we will be distributing only 6 numbers of certificates to our esteemed participants. I'd like to call upon Ms. Onjima Narjari. Onjima Narjari. I'd like to request Honorable Dr. Subham Bosumotari, Honorable Registrar, Bodoland University, to hand over the certificate. Onjima Narjari, please say the names. Razik, please help. Yes. Thank you, Anjuman. Thank you, sir. Next, we have Dr. Jutika Das. The certificate of Dr. Jutika Das will be distributed by our Honorable Principal Madam, Dr. Bonavina Brahmo. Thank you, Madam. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Hemasri Roy. She is a student of Bachelor of Arts from Sapotgram College, and the certificates will be handed over by our Honorable Professor Oinam Ranjit Singh sir. May I request Dr. Singh sir to hand over the certificate? Thank you, sir. Next, amongst us we have Susan Faride. So I'd like to invite Susan Faride to collect the certificate from the esteemed hands of Mrs. Oncholi Bosumotari, Madam, Honorable Head of the Department of Physics, Kokrajhar Govt College. Thank you, Madam. Next amongst us we have Zilufa Yasmin. I would like to invite Zilufa Yasmin to collect her certificate from the esteemed hands of Dr. Sibu Bosa, Honorable Vice Principal of Kokrajhar Govt College. May I invite Mr. Manik Nazari, Assistant Professor, Don Bosco College, Sapaguri, Bongaigaon, to collect his certificate from the good hands of Dr. Sudep Chandra Bosumotari, Honorable Head and Associate Professor from the Department of History, Bodoland University. Now may I invite Ms. Lisa Devi to collect her certificate from the good hands of our Honorable Principal, Dr. Bonovina Brahma Madam. Last but not the least, I would like to invite Shagam Sar Busumotari, Research Scholar from the Bodoland University, to collect his certificate from the good hands of Dr. Subham Gosumotari, newly appointed Registrar of Bodoland University. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to invite Bibari Boru, Research Scholar, Bodoland University, to collect her certificate from Professor Onam Ranjit Singh, sir. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. Last but not the least, may I invite Bulen Sutia, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Sapotgram College, to collect his certificate from Dr. Bonavina Brahma, Honorable Principal, Kokrajhar Govt College. Thank you very much. Rest of the certificates will be distributed from the Office of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell during office hours from tomorrow onwards. Thank you. I would like to invite Dr. Gopadas Talukdar to resume her duty. Thank you.
Try to depict a picture of real picture of this national movement, and they try to argue that that this national movement is nothing but contradiction between the colonial regime and that is Indian people. So Indian people and then colonial rulers, they had certain problem, they had contradiction, and that gradually led to the national movement. And then they also argue that India was not a nation but a nation in the making by that time, because nationalism that was not full-fledged. So anyway, they write the history of national movement from their own perspective. But what we can see is that in their writings, that is what we are talking today, that is unsung freedom fighters, that they were the people who were the real workers during the national movement. But their names are not depicted. Their names are not mentioned in the writings of those even that is not nationalist historians. They simply write the history of that is activities done by Indian National Congress and all, and then all the front kind of those runners, and then national leaders, their histories are written, but not about those marginalized class of people or marginalized freedom fighters. So in case of Assam also we can see the same thing. We have nationalist historians, and in fact they don't write about those marginalized leaders, those people who contributed to a great extent. And another school we talk about is imperialists, and we know that imperialists, they don't write about anything about that. In fact, they argue that even there was no national movement in India, because to be a national movement there must have to be a nation, and according to them there was no nation in India. In India there was no nation, and according to them, that is what we call nation in India, that was kind of Hindu, Muslim, Brahmin, non-Brahmin, that kind of thing. Geographically there was no unity. and there was no, that is India, so there could not be national movement. And what about that is national movement that was led by Indian National Congress? So according to them, that was a kind of selfish national movement, which was, it was supposed to fulfill the interests of those, greedy politicians. And in fact, they tried to correlate one thing, that is Lewis Namier, he had client-patron relationship kind of theory, and even they tried to correlate that one. Mahatma Gandhi, he was kind of one of the political broker between, that is British and then Indian common people that way. And they, no doubt, they will never talk about this kind of people, marginalized class of people. And even another school who talk about, that is different contradiction, Marxist. We have Marxist school of historians. They argue that in fact, that is during the time of that is colonialism, we had two types of contradiction. One is called inner contradiction, another is called outer. Primary and secondary, we can say. And in primary contradiction, that is within the Indian people, we had kind of numbers of contradiction. Like zamindars, that is peasants, and then moneylenders, peasants, and then someone Brahmin, non-Brahmin, Dalit, kind of this kind of contradiction. This is kind of inner contradiction, or you can say primary contradiction. So first of all, we had that kind of contradiction in India, and after that, secondary contradiction was that as a whole Indian people, they had a problem with that colonialism, and that way they write the history of national movement, and they talk little about bourgeois, their leadership, and that way even they try to put some works of that peasants and workers. So that way they write the history, but they also forget to mention about those kind of things. And another school which we follow is the subaltern, in fact headed by Ranajit Guha and others. And what they write is that basically, according to them, there are two types of national movement. One is called bogus national movement, and another is called real national movement. And real national movement, according to them, that was those movements which were that is kind of peasant and workers movement. These were considered as real national movement according to them. And on the other hand, that is in mainstream history, we find that that the historians, they don't try to even consider this as national movement, because national movement, according to that is mainstream historians, that the national movement that starts only with the foundation of Indian National Congress. So Phulagiri uprising that took place in Assam in kind of 1861. So that was before the foundation of Indian National Congress. So that was not a part of that national movement. That was merely a peasant uprising, and that was completely regional kind of thing. So it was not a part of national movement. So on the other hand, the subaltern, they try to argue that these are the real national movement. And according to subaltern, that the national movement which was led by Indian National Congress, that was a bogus kind of national movement. It was only in order to serve the interests of the politicians or leaders of the Indian National Congress. So that was a bogus kind of national movement. So real national movement was that peasant and workers movement. So this way they depict the picture of that is national movement, that the historians. But nowhere we find that those unsung heroes, that the hard work of those heroes, these are not found in the writings of those works of those historians. And I think that the ICHR has been working well, particularly on this ground, because already I had one lecture on Jogendra Kumar Basumatari. That was one of the lectures of that lecture series of that ICHR. So they are holding that kind of lecture, and in fact they are trying to rewrite, and they are trying to provide a space for those kind of people who work hard during the national movement and who contributed to a great extent for the attainment of independence in India. So now, coming to Assam. So we say that national movement that started in Assam, even with the with the foundation of Indian National Congress, when national movement that was started in the mainland, we can also see that even in Assam, the national movement that was started. But even though that the national movement that began in Assam, we can see that it was participation that was very less, because the main reason was that Assam Pradesh Congress Committee that was not set up in Assam. Assam was in fact under the control of the province of Bengal. So that way, and in fact Assam that was, in fact national movement of Assam that was headed by Assam Association, which was set up in 1903, and it was only in the year 1921 that Assam Pradesh Congress Committee that was set up in Assam, and after that we can see that massive participation of the common people that can be seen. But it is not that before that they did not participate. Even before 1921, that is that the nationalists from Assam, they participated in that is annual Congress of Indian National Congress also. They also participated in national movement. So that can be seen. But massive participation that can be seen from 1920s, that is 21, when non-cooperation movement that was started in Assam, we can see that massive participation that began in Assam because APCC that was set up. So that way we can see even in lower Assam, so there are numbers of that is unsung heroes who participated in that national movement, even in non-cooperation movement, even in civil disobedience movement, even in 1940 Quit India movement. You can see that numbers of unsung heroes they participated, and among them one was that Jatindra Narayan Das. So he began his career. That is, he joined in politics. That is Indian National Congress in 1929, and after that we can see that he participated with you can say full-heartedly in the civil disobedience movement. So now, when we talk about the civil disobedience movement, we can see that civil disobedience movement that had different regional variations. So in case of Mahatma Gandhi, he broke the salt law. So in case of Assam, yesterday, Silabara Madam, she was talking about that civil disobedience movement. So we didn't have that saltpeter. So what to break? So how to break the law? So there were different regional variations. So you can see that in the province of Bengal, there was no saltpeter, so they could not break the salt law. So they broke another law, like non-payment of taxes, non-payment of any kind of revenue. So in case of central provinces, there was no saltpeter. So what they did, in case of that is central province, they broke the forest law. Forest law that was broken by people. So in case of Assam, it was Cunningham Circular, because Cunningham Circular that was all of a sudden introduced by DPI, Mr. Cunningham, that no one of the college or school students they could participate in any kind of that is anti-government activities or any kind of pro-Swadeshi kind of activities. So all of a sudden students they had certain problem while participating in that national movement. So you can see that Jatindra Narayan Das, he began his involvement in that Indian national movement in this civil disobedience movement. They broke Cunningham Circular. They protested against that Cunningham Circular. In Dhubri, we can see that numbers of students they came out and they protested against that Cunningham Circular. And the most important thing is that, in fact, even in 1925, one organization, you can say branch that was set up in Dhubri, and he was also part of that. It was Unsung Samiti, because in the province of Bengal we had numbers of not many, but 2-3 kind of secret societies in order to fight against the colonial regime. So one of the branches of that secret society, Unsung Samiti, that was set up in Dhubri, and he was one of the members. Jatindra Narayan Das, he was one of the members, and as he protested against that British during that civil disobedience movement. So first of all, he was imprisoned. First of all, he was put in jail Dhubri, and in fact, what I know is that in Dhubri, only 3rd category of criminals there, put there. So if you were, little ahead of that category 3, you have to be transferred to somewhere else. And that way, Jatindra Narayan Das, he was sent to Tezpur jail. Why he was sent to that jail? There is also a story that he had some kind of anti-government activity even in jail, and because of that reason he was sent to Tezpur, and he was in prison for 6 months, and during that period, and then he was actively, you can say, working with that is National Congress, and as a result we can see that when that was Sarkar Salam, that event, that in jail Dhubri, they were asked to say Sarkar Salam, salute to the government, but he refused to do that, and as a result he was sent to Tezpur jail. Rigorous punishment was given to him, and it is called Sarkar Salam. It was in 1937 that Jawaharlal Nehru he visited, and while Jawaharlal Nehru he visited, he accompanied him. He had the opportunity to accompany him, and then most of the leaders of that period, they had the opportunity to accompany some of the leaders of Indian National Congress, and then that way they were greatly influenced by those leaders. As for example, I can cite example of Jagendra Kumar Basumati. He happened to be with Gopinath Badaliji, and he greatly influenced him, and as a result he joined Indian National Congress, and he actively participated in that national movement. So those are the leaders, they had charismatic kind of thing, and they could exercise any kind of influence over the people who were interested towards that kind of movement. And Jawaharlal Nehru, that Jatindra Narayan Das, he had the opportunity to meet him, he had the opportunity to accompany him in some of the meetings, and that way he was greatly influenced, and then he actively participated in the Indian national movement in Assam. And that way he became the secretary of Dhubri District Committee of Indian National Congress. And another was that after the visit of Jawaharlal Nehru, next year, it was in 1938, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, he also visited Assam. And when he visited Assam, Jatindra Narayan Das, he had the opportunity to meet him, and then he had the opportunity to accompany him. And that way he was greatly influenced. And after that, it was in 1938, Subhash Chandra Bose, he came to Assam. And when he came to Assam, even he visited Dhubri. He came from Ceylon to Dhubri, and that way, even Subhash Chandra Bose, he had that kind of influence over Jatindra Narayan Das. And Jatindra Narayan Das, he was greatly inspired by these stalwarts, and then he actively participated in that national movement, and then he actively, he visited all the places under his jurisdiction, because he was the then secretary of Indian National Congress Committee of Dhubri district, and then he traveled to in the interior villages. Okay, he was preaching that nationalism, he was spreading the ideology, and he was spreading that nationalism, that we should fight against the colonialism. Then only we'll be having that kind of peace of mind. We'll be having peace. We'll be having unexploited kind of thing. Otherwise, we'll be continuously exploited by the colonialism. So everything that he did that way. It was in 1938, and he had the opportunity to arrange many meetings for Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose also. Now, coming to Quit India movement. As Quit India movement started in 1942, all of you know that Quit India movement that started in Assam from Dhubri, we can say, because Gopinath Bordole, he went to participate in Mumbai in one that is special session for that Quit India movement. And when he was traveling back, that he was arrested. Gopinath Bordole and then his some of the colleagues, they were arrested in Dhubri. And that way, when this news of arrest of Gopinath Bordole that spread like wildfire, and we can see that this Quit India movement that began in Assam. And in this Quit India movement, Jatindra Narayan Das, he actively participated, and he was arranging many meetings, many programs, many protests for that Quit India movement. And as a result, all of a sudden he was arrested, and again he was imprisoned for another 6 months. And that way, it was in 1930 civil disobedience movement. He was imprisoned for 6 months, and even in Quit India movement, he was imprisoned for another 6 months. So that way, as a whole, for 1 year. And gradually, you can see that till 1945, he was the secretary of. Till 1945, he was the secretary of Dhubri District Committee of Indian National Congress. And again in 1946, after the end of this Quit India movement and all, when there is no partition plan, everything that was now going on, we can see that Mahatma Gandhi, he again came to Assam in 1946. And when Mahatma Gandhi, he visited Assam, he reached Dhubri also by steamship from Guwahati. In the same year, he happened to meet him, he happened to receive him, and in the same year, he became the president of Indian National Congress Committee of Dhubri District, 1946. And we can see that from 1946 till 1952, he was the president of Indian National Congress Dhubri Committee. And another most important fact is that he had the opportunity to hoist the national flag in the district of Dhubri, that is our district headquarters. I mean, Indian National Congress office for the first time in Dhubri, because he was the then president of Indian National Congress Dhubri District Committee. So that way, he contributed to a great extent, and in fact, he was also one of the members of legislative assemblies, and he was the president of Indian National Congress Dhubri Committee till 1952. And that way he contributed to a great extent towards that is Indian national movement in Assam. Beginning from 1930 onwards, he joined in Indian National Congress in 1929, no doubt, and he participated in civil disobedience movement. But it doesn't mean that he participated only in two movements. But as a whole, we have to see, because any movement that is achievement or success of any movement that cannot be judged by achievement of goal. Suppose civil disobedience movement, its objective was something. Perhaps that objective that might not have been achieved, but still then we can see that that was that must have to be judged by internal dynamics of the movement. And we can see that he also participated in only two movements as a whole when we go to see civil disobedience and then Quit India movement. But his entire journey, how he worked, so if we go to judge that one, he contributed to a great extent. Not only that is 1 year of imprisonment, 6 months and 6 months. That is not only the fact. The fact is that how he was able to contribute. So in entire from 1929 to 1947 till independence, his contribution towards that is Indian national movement is immense. It is immense. He immensely contributed towards the attainment of independence of India. So these are not treasured. These are not written by that is historians. So that as of now, that is ICHR is taking that kind of initiative. So that's a great initiative indeed. So that way we can be able to that is treasure, rewrite, reconstruct the history of freedom struggle. So I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful lecture. Now we will proceed to our next speaker, who is Dr. Iram Gambhir Singh, Head and Professor, Department of English and Cultural Studies, Manipur University. Please, sir, I welcome you over here.
Good morning, everyone. This is a privilege for me to be in Kokrajhar Govt College, one of the oldest college in Assam. Respected members on the dais, Dr. Sudeb Basuntari, Dr. Sangita, Principal of the college, Vice Principal, of course, Vainam Ranjit Singh, Head of the Department of Archaeology and History, Manipur University, and respected invited members. More so, I would like to draw the attention of the students. More kothato alop hunibole paise. Hunile bhal pam. Karan why I have come to learn. Yesterday I learned a lot from you, and I would like to carry forward what can we do for the future of the college, the state, and the nation as a whole. In fact, I would like to just give a humble apology that I don't belong to history, why I have come for this seminar. Just a simple clarification. When I started my PhD after joining a college in Assam, rural college, Manuye tat jabole bhoy kore. Najaba. Okay? The place is called Brahmaputra. There were a lot of ethnic crises. Moi bhabilu, sound, if possible, what can I do? So I went and joined as a lecturer in the Swaidwa College. When I went back to Manipur in 2000, 92, 97 I went back after a gap of 5 years. People were afraid of me. এই গম্ভীৰ ষ্টুডেণ্ট লিডাৰ আছিল, এতিয়া ঘূৰি আহিছে, কি জানি বন্দুক চান্দুক লৈ আহিছে নেকি? So that I'm relating my own experience. Then I thought, some of our senior faculty started running away from me. কি জানি সংগঠনৰ কিবা অৰ্গেনাইজ কৰিবলৈ আহিছিল নেকি? That time, Northeast India, Manipur was really boiling, right? Bodoland was also boiling, right? তাৰ পাছত মই ভাবিলোঁ যে মইতো তেনেকুৱা ভাবা নাছিলোঁ, no doubt. I led an agitation for the quality education. Quality educationৰ কাৰণে মই state against the state, the then government led by Mr. Shankar. মই education যেতিয়া ভাল হ'ব, সব ভাল হ'ব. Then I decide মই এটা PhD কৰিলে ভাল হ'ব. So PhD কৰিবলৈ 98ত মই এপ্লাই কৰিলোঁ. Okay? The title of my PhD topic was Power and Politics of English in Northeast India. It was an ambitious project. বহুত ডাঙৰ, বিশাল. মই পাছতে গম পালোঁ, ষ্টাৰ্ট হোৱাৰ পাছত এইটো এৰিয়া সম্ভৱ ইজি নাছিল. Then my supervisor, myself, we decide that no, you have to confine to Brahmaputra Valley and Imphal Valley. Otherwise, covering Northeast India was not possible. So I started learning. So in order to find out, I had to read. My supervisor kole tumi pohiba. Don't worry about the theoretical perspective. Moi likhi di. You'll be my first PhD. Moi koisu moi nijeo kori. Of course, support is there. When I learn today, I'm technologically little savvy, better than my contemporaries. Because I have the interest, the zeal to learn. Ikibole mon ase. Ikibole mon thakile sab pare. Gotike, then I came across the history of Assam. Without reading history, how could I explore power and politics in Brahmaputra Valley? Teta moi keneka sugar factory asil, kod kiba asil history digest korbo lage. And after digesting history, moi palu je now it will be feasible for me to do the fieldwork. Tar pasot fieldwork korbo lage. So therefore, historical background remains as a backbone. Yesterday, Zoakali Bohutkhini discussed the history, amuk hoy, tamuk hoy, let it be there. But we get a reference point. That's how we begin. Manutu bhal ne, beya na, bhal tu kyo karne hoise, beya tu kyo karne hoise. There will be from different dimensions we can experience and try to relate. Research methodology. So therefore, I digested the history book by Borpujari, and of course, after joining after PhD, I feel like there are some area where we can improve, right? So I had a threadbare discussion with Dr. Ranji. Then he said this and that. Then I pondered upon it, and I decided to choose the topic, thinking that itu platform belek kunubai itu area focus na koribo pare. But this is not my cup of tea. Moi itu apnalokok with apology koisu, itu more area na hoy. Luckily, I have supervised many foreigners, and I try to include all the communities. Jodi kunuba Bodoland University hok, yarpra jodi teacher hok, if you want to come for the PhD, Dr. Ranjit is there, I can give the assurance, we will try to accommodate. And for the quality. But ours is a central university, and promoting people from, students from different regions is a benefit for us. Now, why this seminar is being held? This seminar to more to English or because, right? So, Akhomia, Bibhakor, Manu Judi, Yajudi Ahe. What were the theme? What will be the possible theme? We live in the age where nothing is permanent. Now, it a new education policy I say. Gotike etu kiman dur agbahibo pare noare, we have to wait and see. But there is nothing wrong. Ami technology najanake thakibo para parim boli bhabisilu. Eta apnalokor lora swali jeta mobile android handset loi pelai jeta khelibo apnaloke janiboi lagibo. Jodi na jane, you lose the control. Apnar lora swali kot jaige kono thikana nai. So we are compelled to. So similarly, without knowing history, you cannot relate things. That there lies the importance of history. Political science, sociology, backbone to philosophy and history. But how we relate history is a different issue. Therefore, I won't like to give a detailed, deliberations on that. However, I would just like to bring the two warrior champion among the Nagas. There was Nefa. Nagaland was not a state. Manipur was a union territory. Meghalaya was not born when Britishers came into India. And even, Sylhet was under one political agent. Moi jiman khini janu. So the politics is going on. Therefore, under this theme, 75 years of Amrit Mahasab, Unsung Heroes, I studied and found two persons among the Nagas. So the concept of Naga is also being debated now. Bodo logo eko problem na. Naga nation jite aise itiao bahut khini ase kobo lagia. Kintu hitu loi moi na jao. But we found two unsung heroes. One is called Hapau Jadona. Another one is called let us look at the map of Northeast India. Okay? Assam, Manipur, Nagaland. And there is in North Kasa, there is a place called Dima Hassan. Right? Rongmais, Jamis, they are the inhabitants. But of course, majorities are from Manipur. Tamenglong, now our Belek district, how you will say. So, this is a picture of Northeast India. I have not given a specific focus. Lora swali jodi ketiaba college opera jodi excursion jabo lage hoy, ketiaba olop sabo lage North Kasar Hills to jabo lage, Manipur border, Nagaland border, Kokrajhar is well connected. Moi bhabu jodi pare moi join kore. Historical research require a lot of field work also. Right? We can really. Moi to hidu buji pai pelai, moi bhabisu this is a kind of opportunity for me. Okay. I'm going to focus among the Nagas. There are many Nagas, Angamis, Tangkuls, leading so far separatist movements are concerned. But what about this called Zeliangrong people? Okay? So, integration of indigenous Nagas, I'm not going to discuss. But this Zeliangrong group of people are inhabiting in Nagaland, Manipur, and Assam. Okay? So the term Zeliangrong refers to Jimmy, Liangmai, Rongmai, as such. Now, I will try to refer to some important, historical events. And what are they? Now, if you look at now, many of them, if you go now, right now, there will be churches all around. There was no Christian. Christianity came, the first church, first Christianity, the first church is there in Tesco, right? When Sir William Petrigu came, the first school was established in Imphal, and because of some kind of reaction, it goes to Ukhrul. Now, majority of them are becoming Christians. But how they were reacting against the British? There are a lot of possible, area for further study. So, they worship God called Tingkau Ragam. Okay? And this Rongmai in Manipur, they worship called Lining Thop. We also, even all the Maitais, Manipuri, we have called Lining Thop because we were not Hindus even. 400 years ago, we were not Hindus. The king wanted us to be, to come under the fold of Hindus. And Hindus have contributed, no doubt, as Christians have contributed to the communities. So we need to accept what is good. We can improve, and this is a process of life. We cannot deny that fact. যদি ভাল হয়, বড়ো হোক, মিচিং হোক, অসমীয়া হোক, বাঙালি হোক, যেটো ভাল, universally true. কালি সংগীতা বাইদেউ কৈছে, love is very unique. মই নোট কৰিছোঁ. কাৰণ চেঞ্জ নহয়, but it may have different facets. গতিকে আমি নাজানাকে নিজেই লবই হাৱতি ধৰিছোই কিছুমান, এৰিবও নোৱাৰোঁ. So that is a debate which we, can discuss later on. But, about, by 1950s, Christianity ahi goise. Okay? Then, people are now converting. Etiao, there are like, enaka bodo logot moi, bahut kini pathau puja kora, Lohopur paisu. And from then, মই একচুৱেলি সতীশ বসুমতাৰী বুলি এজন পাইছিল, তাৰ ছোৱালী আছিলে, ৰাণী আমাৰ ষ্টুডেণ্ট আছিল। গতিকে মই কেনেকুৱা মোক বিৰাট ভাল পায়, গহপুৰত মোক দেখিবলৈ অলপ বড়ো নিচিনা, গাহৰি খাই মই ভাল পাওঁ, মনে মনে গৈ খাওঁ। গতিকে কয় যে বিষ্ণু ৰাভাই মোক কেনেকৈ নাচিবলৈ নিছিল। অ'কে, বিষ্ণু ৰাভাই হাতত ষ্টেণ্ড গান লৈ কেনেকৈ গাঁও ফুৰিছিল। গতিকে এইখিনি মই ক'ব নাযাওঁ। But I have live, recorded memories in my brain because I cherish those, moments. মই অনুভৱ কৰোঁ। এতিয়াও যেতিয়া খুৰা ঢুকাইছিল সতীশ, তেতিয়া মোক মাতিছে, মোক ল'ৰা নিচিনাকে, কাৰণ ল'ৰাটো মোৰ ষ্টুডেণ্ট, যেনেকুৱা বাথৌ, যেনেকুৱা ব্ৰহ্মৰ লগত যেনেকুৱা হেৰি কৰিছে, জ্বলা নাই, পুতিছে, কিছুমানে জ্বলিছে। মানে এইখিনি মই প্ৰেক্টিকেলি পাইছোঁ। That's my association with the Bodhus. Now, according to 211 census, এইটো হ'ল চেঞ্চাছৰ কথা। চেঞ্চাছটো তোমাৰ আপোনালোকে ক্লিক কৰিলে গুগলছত পাব। I'm not going to refer to this one. Now, about the language and culture of Zeliangrong. Now, because of Christianity, বেলেগ ধৰণৰ লৈ গৈছে, এতিয়াও if we look at the culture, বড়ো লগত, যিটো জেলিয়াঙৰ জেমে ৰংমাই লগত, মণিপুৰী লগত, আৰু থাইলেণ্ডৰ চিয়াংৰাই বুলি চিয়াংমাই বুলি এটা জেগা আছে, তাতে বহুতখিনি জেলিয়াংৰং বড়ো লগত মিল আছে, কথাও মিলিছে বুলি কৈছে। And they have visited Imphal and did the survey. যদি মইতো প্ৰপ'জ কৰিবলৈ বিচাৰোঁ প্ৰিন্সিপাল বাইদেউ যে আপোনালোকৰ ফেকাল্টি কিছুমান আৰু ল'ৰা ছোৱালী কিছুমান থাইলেণ্ডত যাবলৈ যদি সুবিধা দিওঁ, বাইদেউ নিজেও গৈছে, গতিকে আৰু যদি কিবা ইউনিভাৰ্চিটিৰ লগত টাই আপ কৰিব লাগে, মই যিমান দূৰ আগবাঢ়িব পাৰে, প্লিজ কানেক্ট উইথ মণিপুৰ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি বিকজ দেটছ মাই আলমা মেটাৰ, য'ত আছে থ্ৰু মণিপুৰ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি উইথ আ কাইণ্ড অফ কলাবৰেশ্যন আমি কিছু koribo pari. That is my kind of, hope. Therefore, it is believed that, rivers in China, Yangtze rivers in China, Huanghe rivers, right? Historically very important. Eta mane living example era moi diu. I was invited in Margarita College quite often. That mane heri Ledo to jai, Markok Saleng, Ledo, Margarita, the British or heri wasil. If you go there, you will find people like Bodos, people like, Singfo, Jingfo, ebilak. Now, azikali to border close hoi goise. Before that, they used to go and carry out. Iteo Nagaland on ase. That is why, NSC and IM is said to be still active. They eat the dinner in Myanmar and sleep in India. But these borders are being sealed now. The memories still we can live. But that way, Singfo, in China it is called Jingfo. I have a lot of photographs, live photographs. Even when I went, because of my face, they allow. Otherwise they don't allow Indians. Life experience. But if you go to Thailand, you can meet them. Chiang Rai, Chiang Mai, both Chinese are. Because of historical connections. This is what we can explore and do further, maybe related to history. But of course, the theme is unsung heroes. Unsung heroes, we will try to see the British rule in Northeast India. It has been discussed yesterday. Our Sudeb Sare koi goise je titiyo yanda to refer kori goise. Gotike moi etu iman durle na ja. But in the history we have Anglo-Manipuri War in 1891, right? But after the collapse of Burmese, how colonial power came into India. But again, when I had the kind of interaction, moizita interact koru, the British rule in Northeast India is not very long. It is said to be for a pretty short period of time. Because that area mo iman sposto ke kobo noaru. Let us come back to the two unsung heroes from Northeast India. I feel like praying for their departed soul at least half a minute. Can we have silence for half a minute by standing? Thank you very much. Because we refer in seminars, unsung heroes, unsung heroes. If we don't pray at least 1 minute, showing respect, what is the purpose? Yate seminar kori, enjoy kori, at least if we can learn something, that will give us a kind of, practical feel about how they have departed. We can, pray. This prayer was for all the departed souls who fought against the Britishers. So, Jadonam was a spiritual leader. Okay? At a very young age, Amar yate missing logo to ase jiotana boli. Konoba bimar hole onipra jiotane. Moi bodo logo to paisilo juju mo monat nai. Similar spiritual guidance Rommai logo kitya was. Okay? This community. And how we were very close. Hetu ami explore koribo para nai because my subject is English. I'm fine for it. Gotike kali moi bahut kin hikibo palu. Ajiyo hombak olop hikilu aru hikibole pam bhabisu. Gotike he initiated. Now why they fought against the Britishers? Now just Dr. Sudeep was relating to different theories. Yesterday we had different propositions wonderfully presented by Baidu yesterday, which I have never heard. Kintu about Kanaklata, Borangabari, Kanaklata Poria Logo moi nije mane bahut khini kotha pati. Tate kisumane ultake kuwa ase mo dukla. Tar bhal poa loratoe olop neglect kora kane policy boli tenakau ase. So that is their day. But what we have accepted cannot remain, change. Gotike hetu ami mani lobo lagibo. Gotike he was, Jadonang was a staunch, critic to the British colonial power. And people believe that he is a magician. Okay? But Jadonang was really a true leader among the Jami tribes. So, political movement kenaka hoy under the British imperialism. As a Akomotu pike system during the Raja. Regret, repentant, protest to choli thake. The British as a major power in India, even in the remote corners of Manipur, that kenaka hoise. The imposition of force levels. Naga people or Manipuri people or Bodo people, we don't like imposition. I mean, jitu kori bhal pao, jitu khai bhal pao, etu he kori bole mon jay. Itia obviously bahut change hoise. So, they forcefully try to employ under the crown name. So people lost the freedom. Kintu, the kind of history we have seen in remaining part of India, the kind of feeling against Britishers may be slightly different from other people. But again, this is, how they lost the freedom. And losing freedom jete herai hoise, manu bhoi napare moribo. That is a challenge Jadonang took it up. So Jadonang, not only had, this, wisdom, he also was a practitioner of, natural cure treatment. People used to invite, konoba jodi bimar thake, Jadonange jodi olop tenaka heri korile bhal hobo. Same thing was, continued. Etu heri korise. Gotike Jadonang's political and religious endeavors, amiu yate dekhisu when British came to India, particularly when the Britishers came to Assam. Bengali was the official language in 1930, when Assamese intelligence. Then, the missionaries came. Missionaries ako Akomiyatu eri korise. Ako revive koribo, majority is Assamese. There may be a kind of game plan, maybe for the good or bad, that's a different thing. But Britishers, Ahiye, Anglo-Assamese Dictionary, 1973. Gotike, religious was a kind of, empowerment to administer or to control, maybe used rightly or wrongly. Gotike, Jadonang logot eta moi unique kiba paisu study kora. Why he was so influential? Why public accepted him? Because his role cannot be neglected. But his wisdom was not against the people. People are jeta hadinata erai goise, when they lost the freedom, he grabbed and he tried to lead, save the community. So thus he fought against the Britishers. But however, moi ako apology korisu je moi iman historian na hoy, moi expert na hoy. After reading, I'm trying to, explore what could be possible, probably which will lead to further research. Hituloi moi akha kori heri korisu. So Jadonang was, after that, Haraka movement of Jadonang. Now, what is Haraka movement? He preached a new cult. Amai moi boro majoto paisu Brahma cult eta paisu kenoko ase moi nazanu. ভালকৈ ষ্টাডি কৰা নাই মই কিন্তু কাল এটা পাইছোঁ এটা বিলিভ গতিকে বিলিভ ইজ ছামথিং যদি বিশ্বাস কৰে মানুহ বিশ্বাসৰ আশাতে জীয়াই আছোঁ আমি অ'কে এইটোতো উইদাউট ডেট স্পিৰিচুৱেল ফ'ৰ্চ যে আমি আশা কৰোঁ উই ড্ৰিম উই হ'প অ'কে এইটো পাৰ্চু কৰি এচিভ কৰিব পাৰিলে উই ৰিয়েলি গেট এ এচিভ কিন্তু যাদনাং ৱাজ এ লিডাৰ এণ্ড meaning harakha means pure, right? We should not be controlled by a foreign alien, those people. So he preached also as he believed that we have a supreme. If you go to Arunachal Pradesh, okay, moi alongot goisu, orange khaboloi bisari goisu, moi kaisu, tate mane bahut khini doini polokyo preserve kore, right? Itu আমাৰ লগত কিবা মিল আছে নাই that will be a different thing. So he built, of course I use a temple here. It's not exactly the temple, right? Temple Dora, temple Nisana, কিন্তু হেঁতে কিবা বনাই গতিকে religious songs compose কৰিছে so that people can understand. Now similar thing we have seen in case of Shangkardev and Madhadev. এইটো হিষ্ট্ৰীয়ে ক'ব গতিকে কিয় কাৰণে কৰিছিল গতিকে that's a different thing. But the most wonderful character in him is that we have to be free, we are born free, we live as a community, we should not allow without any understanding to be ruled by a foreigner. Okay? এইটো আছে. So, Jadonang also practice itu tului বুলি কয় মানে পানী এৰি দি পেলাই এতিয়াও আমাৰ যদি প্ৰেক্টিছ আছে চাগে গাঁৱত কিন্তু use those practices to work against the Britishers. এই কথাটোৱে মই ক'ব খুজিছোঁ গতিকে Jadonang reduced number of ritual sacrifices but he is also a kind of modernist. গতিকে ইমান ৰিচুৱেল হৈ গৈছে ইটো ৰিচুৱেলৰ লগত ইটো ৰিচুৱেলৰ লগত কিয় মিলা নাই গতিকে উই হেভ টু কনফাইন টু চাৰ্টেন ৰিডিউচ স্পেচিয়েলি অফাৰ্ড টু ডেইটিজ আদাৰ দেন টিংখাও ৰাগাওঁ এইটো মোৰ বিষয় নহয় সেইকাৰণে মোৰ মুখলৈ পটকে নাহে গতিকে আই হেভ টু ৰেফাৰ চ' ইনষ্টেড অফ ফ'কাছিং অন ৰিচুৱেলছ হি এমফেচাইজ অন কোৱালিটিজ that pleases টিংখাও ৰাগাওঁ আমি যে ভগৱানৰ পূজা কৰোঁ মন্দিৰত যাওঁ ভগৱানে নকয় নহয় সোণৰ এক তোলা দিলে তোমাৰ বেমাৰ ভাল কৰি দিম কয় জানো so he had that kind of genuine approach and he really groomed the people মানুহবিলাক গোটাইছে so Jadonang established a camp এইটো মই নিজে কৈছোঁ শিলচৰত when I was in Assam University Silchar এতিয়া কৌব্ৰু বুলি কয় আমি পাহাৰত যাওঁ if we go to মাধ্যাইবিলাকে আকৌ তাত কৰে ভুৱন পাহাৰ বুলি তাতে ভূগোল কেম্প এতিয়াও আছে আৰ্কাইভ হিষ্টৰিয়ান বা হিষ্ট্ৰীয়ে যদি যায় মই ভাল পাম মণিপুৰবিলাকে তাতে নালান্দ পূজা বুলি নাৱত গৈ পূজা কৰে আৰু তাত পাব কক এই মুৰ্গাৰ চেম্পলখিনি ইনগ্ৰেভিঙত পাব কেৱল এতিয়াও এইটো বিৰাট প্ৰেক্টিকেল আৰু মিথলজিকেলি উই বিলিভ এই ভুৱনৰ কেপটো মণিপুৰৰ হিয়াংথাং লগত আছে বা কাংলা যে তাতে কেপ আছে তাৰ লগত লিংক আছে কিমানখিনি প্ৰেক্টিকেল দেটছ এ ডিফাৰেণ্ট থিং বাট পিপল ইউজ টু বিলিভ এণ্ড নেশ্যনছ ইউজ টু ছাৰ্ভাইভ কণ্টিনিউ ছাষ্টেইন এইখিনি কথাটো হি অলছ' হেড দ্য ছেম থিং ভুৱন পাহাৰত ই কৰি ই ৰংময়ী ট্ৰেডিশ্যনটো এতিয়াও Imphal Valley যিমান খিনি ৰংময়ী আছে those who are not Christians they go every year if not every year every 3 years 4 years আছে এতিয়া among the ৰংময়ীs there are certain Christians suppose Kamai or Mani Chauba I had an interaction they still believe in those practices গতিকে this is how we link গতিকে Bhuben Paharot, and at the same time Romai Bilak, Dima Hasauleki as a Silcharotu, there are a lot of Romai, they were employed by the Britishers, but they because of that forced laborers হেঁতে থাকি গৈছে শিলচৰত লেতেৰা চাফা কৰাই গ'ল কিন্তু he is the one who move against the Britishers ৰঙৈবিলাকক মানে গোটাই মেলি যে আমি এইটো কৰিব নালাগে without consent কৰিব নাপায় so he used those this thing. So বাহি গৈছে তাক supporter বিলাক Jalanang also built refined an army comprised of 500 men and women, and he was accused of Britishers. Now, yat amar oinam Ranjit sare kobo paribo. Say Jadonang was, given a colored picture that Jadonang was against the Maitais. He killed, Maitai traders, so that hill and valley will be divided. আমাৰো আমি অসম আন্দোলনৰ কথা কিছুমান পাইছোঁ যে গুৱাহাটীত শিলচৰত মই পাইছোঁ বড়ো ভাষা আন্দোলনৰ বিষয়ে কিছুমানে আচুল মেইন লিডাৰ নহয় ছাপৰ্টাৰবিলাকে যদি পাৰ্চনেলি বেয়া পায় বেংগলী ৰুমত গৈ পেলাই খুচি দিয়ে কিবা কিবি কৰি পেলাই কিছুমান ঘটনা ঘটে সেইটো মিছা ন সঁচা মই নাজানো কিন্তু মই শুনিবলৈ পাইছোঁ কিছুমান বেংগলী কিছুমানে হৈছে ঘটনাটো কিছু বেছিকে পিংলাই দিয়ে that is possible. So there are so many things, but the men, women and men গোটাইছে ৰিফাইন হেৰি কৰি পেলাই এইটো তাৰ আমাৰ ৰংমাই হেৰি আছে এব্ৰিভিয়েশ্যনটো কি লগত খাপ খায় ময়ো নাজানো but this is just a kind of exploratory paper, okay, on the basis of what has been seen. Now, so they believe ৰিফাইন বুলি ক'লে there are some visionaries ব্ৰিটিছ মুভমেণ্টবিলাক ক'ত হ'ব আগতীয়াকৈ প্লান কৰে গতিকে তেনেকৈ প্লান কৰি সেইখিনি গোটাই they react. The British came to know, so he was accused of killing 4 Manipuri traders. Manipuri বিলাকে আকৌ বেলেগ ধৰণৰ অৰ্থটো কয় দেই কিন্তু সেইটো ইমান সঁচা মিছা নাই নাজানো there is separate opinion from the Maitai historians also that Jadonang was not a freedom fighter. Jadonang was a gunda, something of that. Kiswane Tenaga project kore aro. So Higgins moved across the Naga territory on his way, showing cabin-bound Jadonangor movement to itu henda dhurja dhoran. Kan itu jodi bahi jai Britishor control to herai jabo. That was the so Jadonangor accusation to this he denied, right? And he was awarded the death sentence. He was hanged. Baharot hang kore na. He was hanged in the Nambul River, right, on 29 August 1931. This is a picture to us. This is a picture of Jadonang, Nambul River, Osorot. The archival picture eta moi ulabole paisu mo bhal lage. I give the acknowledgement to one of the scholar called Gonmai who have supported me. Last night pathai dise aru je moi presentation kali ase photo kini tumi gutai diba gotike showing picture may help you to understand better ekane moi korisu. Then after his death Rani Gaidelu, now Rani Gaidelu died very recently. Or Rani Gaidelu bikhoitu Tezpur University jeta Unsung Hero seminar patise. Rani Gaidelu was born in Nagaland বুলি দিছে the website. Okay, one of the teachers wanted to say, I said now we have no means pasote correct koribo itia koribo nalage gotike it will bring a bad name to Tezpur University. Rani Gaidelu was born in Nagaland বুলি দিছে Rani Gaidelu because see I have specified there are many Rongmais in Nagaland. There are many Rongmais or Jeme, Hehoto group of, because of the knowledge she has. She inherited a lot of things from Jadonang. Jadonang or relative boy. She joined the same Haraka religious and political movement, seeking to drive out the British from Manipur. Her main objective was to drive out British from Manipur, to ASSAM. গতিকে she was condemned to death at the age of 70. At the age of 13, she joined. But yesterday, I think someone was referring Joan of Arc. Sela Baidu was saying, Joan of Arc or God. Like, as if she has the Spirit of God communicating to the people. Amaru ya Bhagavanot jodi puja patra kore, jitu pujariye kobo Bhagavane koa dore loy. Can that practice of it will be slightly diverted, but still possible oral narratives can be, continued. Otherwise, itya jodi nakoro boyokosto manu bilak almost on the deathbed. Jikini moi interact koraisu. Some of these findings are not solely on the basis of, secondary sources. Moi primary sources or interact koraisu. In order to come here, I sent him back to the village where Rani Gaigalu was born. He said, sir, I don't get anything. He said, whatever you try to meet 80 plus people. He said, 60 years old, kisumane hilu, ami koka, aita hotoba enaka hikisu. Gotike, how we will verify? It was a challenge for the historical researchers. Not only historical, political science, or sociologists who believe in pragmatical approach, primary data like that. Those things. And she was condemned to death at the age of 70. Okay? And she was jailed many times in 1930. So Rani Gaidelu's movement also got the momentum. Rani Gaidelu's movement too, pura momentum pai gase. People, she said, don't pay tax. Okay? Don't pay tax, we must react, we must fight. And that is the normal kind of, incident happening we have seen. But again, Rani Gaidelu, what is important, all these things are found in the history books, so I don't like to take much time on it. Now, led by her, she clashed with, Assam Rifles at Hangrum. Okay? So on February 1932, skirmish, the conflict took place with Rani Gaidelu's warrior and Assam Rifle controlled by the Britishers. The warriors were inspired to fight because Rani Gaidelu enekka mane heri korise, convince korise, they are compelled, goro da loi holo. Okay? Iman khini mane leadership quality tayo ase. So that is why we believe that she had got some spiritual power. This is what I have learned from my scholars. For this, I have asked him to survey. Otherwise, I am not a historian. I want to do something, give something new, which has never covered by historians. This is what I am trying to highlight. So Gaidelu told her warriors that all the bullets of the Assam Rifles will turn into water. Enekake koise je bullet to pani hoi jabo. That was azikali jodi study koru, that will lead to misguiding people to join the agitation. Right? Azikali jodi if we discuss right at this moment. Right? But how she could organize, what inspiration has led her to tell the people so that the people react against British? That is our concern. So now Ursula Graham Bauer wrote, and this is there in the history. He likhisi, okay? In the action 6 years, 6 Assam rifle soldiers were killed and 8 Jemi warriors were shot dead, and there were many casualties. The aftermath of the tribal attack of Assam Rifles outpost was so grim, and it has a terrible consequences. This is from the British record. Terrible consequences. All the men were in hiding, and the houses were burned and tortured. And this is what we have seen very recently in Manipur. যেতিয়া অপাৰেশ্যন বজৰং চলিছিল আগমতো মণিপুৰটো ক'ৰবাত গাঁৱত কি হৈছিল কেতিয়াবা অনুভৱ যদি কৰোঁ সম্ভৱ তেনেকুৱা চিমিলাৰ চিটুৱেশ্যন নাছিল বুলিও ক'ব নোৱাৰোঁ সম্ভৱ interesting things might have happened in those days but they have noted down this so Gaidilu was arrested in 17 October 1932 from Polomi village now in Peren district of Nagaland. Peren district or Tamilnadu logot khos kahibo pare. Ek khos kahebal, khos kahi jabo pari. Jeepable na hoy. Because it to government of India is planning to connect Dima Hasao pra railway project to ahibo, to connect hobo pare. Because that was there. So some of people wrongly involve other people who was not from Manipur. At least luckily, at least I'm able to give you some kind of clarification. Suppose NCRT is a kitab likhise, New Education Policy. Kintu mezir kotha to iman bholke likhe. Je ami mag bihu je meji jolao. Meji jolao te ami Manipur to ase Durga Puja time or Bhatu time or je kaba ghorot mane alu chor kori কবি চোর কৰি আনি চাপ খাওঁ ফূৰ্তিত এইটো নহয় যে ধ্বংস হওক বুলি এইটো এটা প্ৰেক্টিচ টাইমত এইটো there is something which we need to study কিন্তু তেনেকুৱা মানে কিছুমান হেৰিত মই অলপ so many folk lore elements এইটো ষ্টাডি কৰাৰ পাছত পাইছোঁ now history with in the overall umbrella called unsung hero bhitorot so many interdisciplinary related issues are being involved. That is what we call our skill or kotha to us. What Gaidilu did, what Jadonang was doing, it's not a simple thing. It's a high class skill. Kotha koatu mane kisuman potake kobo noare. Kali swali bilak যেতিয়া নাচিছিল মই ভাবিছো বা আকমান আৰু সুপাৰভাইজ কৰিলে মণিপুৰ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি কালচাৰেল শো এটা দিব পাৰে মই এইটো এটা কৈছো অফিচিয়েলি we can invite whenever আৰু বিহু মান ধুনীয়াকৈ নাচি গৈছে আৰু মণিপুৰী ছোৱালীৰ ড্ৰেছটো আনিছে মণিপুৰী হয় না নহয় এইটো নাজানো কিন্তু মণিপুৰী গানো গোটাই লৈছে this is what we try to explore in the new education policy. Everything is going to be interdisciplinary. Into skill to cooperate. Gaidilu was jailed. Okay. Now, last year of Gaidilu Nagaland of Dukaisil. Let us look at the photos. This is a picture of Rani Gaidilu. Okay. Prime Minister Nehru, Paul Morrison. Even then, Rajiv Gandhi also invited. Later on, she became a symbol of freedom movement. Now, this freedom movement to সম্ভৱ আমাৰ কিছুমান কালচাৰ ইন্টিগ্ৰেটেড নিউ এৰিয়া এক্সপ্লোৰ কৰিব পাৰে নেকি বুলি এটা এম্বিশন লৈ পেলাই আনসাং হেৰোটো লৈ আমি গাবলৈ আহিছোঁ so that though I am not a historian but I believe that lot of possible area of research may emerge after studying Jadonang Rani Gaidilu. Not only that, I have Ranjit Sare Kali Manipuri Mohila Kenaka, they how nupis mane imas, nupis mane Mohila bila, Maiki bila, Kenaka react korise. Fourth, Mota Maiki Mota Manu bila to Marile Gulai dibo, Maiki Manu iman touch koribo noare under the British rule itu asik. Don't touch, don't harm the real temple. British kino na kon. Temple bilakor jitu bilipot tas nakorake they try to explore a niche. Gotike Jadonang was painted as a kind of anti-Manipuri. It was perhaps creation of the Britishers to divide and rule. Hobo pare. Gotike those negative remarks we need to remove. What is good among us we need to appreciate and live peacefully for the unsung heroes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful talk. Now I invite Dr. Sangeeta Kakuti, Associate Professor and Head, Department of History, RDA Vidyapith College, to come over here, ma'am, and deliver your lecture.
It's past 12 o'clock, so I'll have to say very good afternoon. Well, I don't really have a lecture to present here. I presented my paper yesterday. We had a very good deliberation. And for me, I have learned a lot of new things after I came to this seminar. What I'd like to especially address the students and the young teachers who have joined the college here is that, you know, when you see such seminars being organized or papers being presented by others, I'm trying to share my own experience. When I had just joined a college, or even before that when I was doing my master's, you know, you kind of feel scared, you know, when you look at this very highly academic discussions going on, and you kind of feel that, well, it's not like that. It's not really like that, because you see, studies kora hoy. Academic studies basically society development kora hoy. Academic studies ultimately it has to percolate down to the society. Unsung heroes or kotha ami yak pati meli ami ghore ghore jodi gusi jao aru ami jodi samajor manukhinik unsung heroes or kotha khini kobo nwaru tetia hale enuka seminar bilak patar ekul lav nathake asamate. Because academics supposed to do, it's for the society. That is the number one thing which we must understand. And this kotha moi hikane particularly students khini koisu aru moi jitu kotha kolo moi young notun ke join kora teachers khini etu kotha kom je mane sare jitu kotha kole, first of all, academics ot thakibole hole you have to study. Our students hisabe tumalokor result patir eta kotha ta ahe, definitely okol marks to e kotha nohoy. You come to the college not to collect marks. I believe you come to the college to gather knowledge and information. Tumar marks to tumi kiman marks paisa etu in the long run karo monon nathake. Kune first class paisile, kune second class paisile, in the long run of your life karo monon nathake. Ultimately tumi life or goi ki korisa, that is what becomes important. So as students you need to, you know, focus. Etiar prai cinta koribole hol degree pori asa jihetuke etiar prai bhabibole hol agole ki korim, aru particularly jekhini academics ot thakibo khujiba hekhini kare moi eta kotha kom je nijor পঢ়া শুনাটো কৰিব লাগে মানুহে নিজৰ knowledge আৰু information টো কাৰণে it cannot be marks oriented. Okay, that is number one thing. আৰু মই যেটো কথা কলো যে এনেকুৱা সেমিনাৰ বিলাকলে আহি এতিয়াও আমি HOD বুলি কয়, it's a আজিকালি আমাৰ HOD হেৰিটো rotationত আহে. মই যদি আজি 3 বছৰ HOD হৈছো, someone else will become the HOD in another 3 years. I always like to call myself a student of history, and I'll remain a student of history for the rest of my life. You know, porhaisu and a teaching professional humaisu, you know, every day you get to learn something new. Ekhon seminar la ahi plai moi kebata notun kotha hikilu. I've enriched myself with so much more knowledge. Kali moi jikhon paper present korisilu odhikari sare tat ketaman suggestions, is a very nice suggestions. Moi chesta korim hekhini implement kori plai mo paper khon moi ako okoman notun ke sabo lagibo tetia hale মই নতুনকে বহিব লাগিব পেপাৰখন লৈ প্লাই মই যেটো লাইনত চিন্তা কৰিছিলো তেওঁ অকমান নতুন দুটামান ইনপুটস দিছে মই নতুনকে ভাইব লাগিব আজি সাৰে এখন ইমান এখন সুন্দৰ প্ৰেজেন্টেচন কৰিলে আমি ৰাণী গাৰ্গিলীৰ কথা শুনিছো কিন্তু জাদনানৰ কথা আমি শুনা নাছিলো we did not know মই at least পঢ়া নাছিলো so you know something a new information has come about তাৰ আগতে সাৰে যেটো লেকচাৰ দিলে তেখেতে সুদেৱ সাৰে যেটো লেকচাৰ দিলে very concise read anibla iman dunia ke from the different approaches to history kotha kole you know these things always enrich you gotike enekwa dhoronor seminars bila patar definitely eta khub relevance eta ase aru moi aha korim particularly my students kini etu kotha moi heri kori koisu je mane seminar khon patile dudin ami yak actively nasilu galu ghorle gusi golu hetu bostu jate nohoy we need to take from here, you know, we need to take away from here. Aru eta kotha jitu moi ei matro uthiaote kolu mor yat lecture diar kono mane heriye nasile yet I don't have a prepared lecture, moi just experience moi share korisu that life is a learning process. So আমি এনেকুৱা হেৰিবিলাকত আহিলে কালি ছাৰহঁতৰ যিটো লেকচাৰ আছিলে ৰঞ্জিত ছাৰে কালি যিটো লেকচাৰ দিলে মণিপুৰৰ হিষ্ট্ৰী মোৰ ইমান I didn't know so much. Sir gave such a beautiful informative list কিমানখিনি national movement মানুহ involved আছিলে, how they were sent to Andamans, সেইখিনি কথা আমি নাজানিছিলোঁ. As a historian, as a student of history from Assam, মই যদি কাইলৈ ভাবোঁ যে মই মণিপুৰৰ হিষ্ট্ৰীৰ ওপৰত কিবা এটা কৰিব বিচাৰোঁ, that has given me এটা thought process, এটা মই চিন্তা কৰিব পাৰোঁ কাইলৈ. আৰু ছাৰ has given এতিয়া যিটো গম্ভীৰ ছাৰে কৈছিলে মানে কোকৰাঝাৰ কলেজৰ লগত মণিপুৰ ইউনিভাৰ্চিটি কোলাবৰেশ্যনৰ কথা কৈছে, তো ময়ো সেইটো ছাৰক ক'ম যে ছাৰ মোৰ কলেজখনৰ লগতো I would love to collaborate, so so that we can expand. আৰু যিটো কথা ছাৰে কৈছে এটা কথা মই ক'ম, as a student of history, I'm sure people from different disciplines are here. History is everywhere. Please understand that. History is everywhere and history has to be everywhere. Yaar jodi koba physics or manhu ase, even physics has a history. The history of physics keneke ahile korpra ahile, so history is just everywhere. And when you move yourself away from history, amar nijor eta personal history ase je moi jetia মোৰ নিজৰ history কথা কম, I will have to talk about my parents and grandparents and so on and so forth. You cut yourself away from that history and you become rootless. এজোপা গছ যেতিয়া আমি শিপাৰ পৰা উঠাই পেলাওঁ, মানুহ এটাৰো সেই একেই অৱস্থা হয় when you move yourself away from history. So how we should preserve our history and how we should preserve our own culture and language. Ajir dinot, I think that has become very important. And যিটো ছাৰেও নিজৰ লেকচাৰত কালি কৈছিলে, কালিও মই কেইবাজনৰো মুখত সেইটো হেৰি মই শুনিছিলোঁ, that is the onus is on us how we move out. আৰু ছাৰে লাষ্টত এটা বৰ ধুনীয়া লাইন এটা ক'লে that ষ্টাডিজবিলাক চলি থাকিব, হিষ্ট্ৰীৰ ষ্টাডি চলি থাকিব, পলিটিকেল চায়েন্সৰ ষ্টাডি চলি থাকিব. At the end of the day we are all human beings and our aim at the end of the day is to live together peacefully in a harmonious way. তেনেকুৱা এটা society-লে আমি কেনেকৈ আগবঢ়িম, the onus lies on us. That I think is the most important thing. আমি এই গোটেই পঢ়া শুনাবিলাক কৰিছোঁ, গোটেই আমি যিমানবিলাক আমি ৰিচাৰ্চ কৰিছোঁ, আগবাঢ়িবলৈ চেষ্টা কৰিছোঁ. I personally believe is not to create divisions among us, but to bring unity and peace among us. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm sure we have the agendas for the rest of the day, so I will not take much time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your enriching talk. Now, the session is open for interaction. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, suggestion, or any kind of comment to make, then you can.
Can I put one question, ma'am? I heard, I read somewhere, Romila Thapar once told that historians manipulate history. How far it is true? Because yesterday we thought that history means whatever truth. I'm not a student of history, pardon me for that. I'm a student of physics. So I want to ask that question, that means historians do manipulate history, may it be political, may it be social, or may it be some other reasons. Suppose, dynasts, they wrote history of their own. So the historians have been paid. So how come we think of that they will write whatever the truth about the emperor or the king? So I want to know.
Thank you. I got your question. Supposing I keep this foray is here on the table, yeah? You can see it from your side. I can see it from my side. You can describe it from your side. I'll describe it from my side. Which is the truth? So you see, the thing is, like, what happens? I'll give you another example. When we are studying about World War I, because these are very big events which has changed the history of the world. The First World War. Let me give an example. Ours was a colonized country. এইটো লগত এইটো লৈ কালি আমাৰ বহুত ডিছকাশ্যন হৈছে অ'কে হিষ্ট্ৰী বিং ৰিটেন বাই দ্য ইউৰোপিয়ানছ পাৰ্টিকুলাৰলি দ্য ব্ৰিটিছ হিষ্টৰিয়ানছ যিবিলাক কিতাপ আমি এতিয়াও পঢ়োঁ আমাৰ ইয়াত আমি যেতিয়া হিষ্ট্ৰী পঢ়োঁ ফাৰ্ষ্ট ৱৰ্ল্ড ৱাৰ পঢ়োঁ we study First World War from the British perspective. So for us, Germans were the villains. Apuni Germany ko First World War पढ़ोगे, you will have a completely different perspective. So you know, कथा तो होल जे history actually truthfully एको ना थके. It is who has interpreted history. Am I right, sir? So that is your question. You know, historians. apuni eta example nije dile. আগৰ ৰজাবিলাকে যেতিয়া হিষ্ট্ৰী লিখাইছিলে তেওঁলোকে কিছুমান মানুহে ৰাখিছিলে কোৰ্টত হিষ্ট্ৰী লিখিবলৈ কাৰণে সো আৰু সেই হিষ্ট্ৰীবিলাক যেতিয়া লিখে ৰজাবিলাকৰ সব ভাল ভাল কথা লিখে সেই হিষ্টৰিয়ানটো ৰজাটোৰ বেয়া কথা লিখি মৰিলেহে হ'ব হিকো বেয়া নিলিখে হয় নহয় আৰু দ্যাট ইজ ৱাই ইউ সি আমি যেতিয়া হিষ্টৰিকেল ৰিচাৰ্চ কৰোঁ বা হিষ্ট্ৰী আমি যেতিয়া এটা ছাবজেক্ট পঢ়াওঁ আমি সদায় এটা বস্তু আমাৰ টিচাৰসকলে শিকাইছিলে ফৰেন একাউণ্টছ আৰ ভেৰি ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট Foreign accounts as a source of history. আমি যেতিয়া Indian history a very ancient India পঢ়ো Unsung accounts important because Unsung came here for a short period of time. He was not a subject of the ruler. তেওঁ যিখিনি দেখিছিলে তাকে লিখি থৈ গুচি গ'ল কাৰণ তেওঁ কাটিবলৈ কোনো নাই তেওঁ কোনেও ধৰি জেল নিদিয়ে এইটো কেলে লিখিছ বুলি কিন্তু তেওঁৰ মানে ৰজাৰ যদি কোনোবা নিজৰ মানুহে লিখে সেইটো মৰিব so that is I hope I've answered your question.
For your answer, but I just want to relate one thing with your answer. Just as you have said that I can see the correct from my side, you can see from your side. So that means truth can be manifolded. That means truth can be viewed from different perspective. So here it incorporates the philosophy of Kokrajhar. So that means are you accepting that truth is manifolded, or it can be viewed from different perspective?
As I said that you know. Sorry, answer your question, please. Sir.
Manusri Bhattavas, right? It's a good question. He has raised the issue. I don't like to come into that debate, only to debate it online. And suppose, as I was directing to Wainam Ranjit, many historians of Manipur believe Jadonang was a Dakwai, looting, because Britishers have painted. When I deal with the people, common people of their own, as Dr. Sangeeta has rightly said, here, we cannot look at one angle. But there was no debate, no discussion. At least, bhal holo, beya holo, election pate. Jodi after 2 years, after 2 terms, ami jodi beya pai Congress of hatai dilu. আৰু যদি প্ৰেজেণ্ট আহি আছে কেইদিনমান পিছত আকৌ এইটোকো হটাই দিম বেলেগ পাৰ্টি আহিব পাৰে বা কংগ্ৰেছ আহিব পাৰে দ্যাট ইজ এ ডেম'ক্ৰেচি among the historians ডেম'ক্ৰেচিটো আছে বুলি মই নাভাবোঁ কাৰণ ইট sometimes histories are written by the to the subject by the king গতিকে এইটোতো ফেক্ট কিন্তু important thing is incident যিটো হৈ গৈছে suppose that's why I have shown how Jadonam was not hanged in the hill. Why he was hanged in the valley? Is it he is an entity to the valley who created? Discuss koribo lage bikhoy. Say for example, yesterday I had a kind of interaction with a girl, political science naki, so later person okay she's there. Now about the after Treaty of Yandabu, suppose when we look at the history of tea in Assam, who were the three goers? India, if you go to Myanmar, Liphunguli khai, the kolot umai pelai, satu khabo. India, if you come to Manipur, Moret goi pelai khabo paribo, I'll arrange. Though, azikali modernization or kane naikya hoi gase. India was. If we look at the history, Manipuri bilake we write the history against the Myanmar rulers. That Yaibi lemba mane naka Jalukya mane Jolai Palai, Maitai bilakuk marisil, or Yaibi lemba something like that. Yate Pamot mane Heri Pumai, then a Rasta Tani Luge. Terrible, bhayanak picture etati. But if we go to Thailand, how they wrote about Meiteis. Ito to ami study kora na. We have never. I have invited one Myanmar teacher to do the research, so that we can learn, what is written by them about Meiteis. Ami itu nakorake balance koribo nori. Apnaloke jodi court-ot jai, hodai duta mane two side thake. Eta mane accuse kore, eta hena kore. Ami hunibole that room is not given to us. So the question of her, je konobai jodi accuse kore court-ot bole nai, praman lagibo, postpone koribo, that is the different issue. But justice to anibo karone system eta ase. So when history was written, how we rewrite, tenaka itiao we need to think what were possible, what is possible. Only anubhapot with supportive documents, evidence. Ekane, when we discuss about the history gives us the kind of event, so that we can study. Kintu, lot of supportive argument, evidence lagi. Sometimes evidence herai goise, manu to hosakeo marisil, evidence o anibo noarisil, court ekot etu eri dibo lagao. So life is like that. Kintu, as Dr. Sangeeta was referring, we have to look at everything as a human being. Jetia moi Manipur University asilu, Manipuri department only swali. Lora bilake English, pol science. Itiao, if we look at doctor engineer ke bisi sukudia. Amar Manipur kotha tu koisu. Kintu kisuman community doctor engineer pohabole najai, accountancy pohab. Doctorship paleo eribole koi. More student ketot koise. Some community. Gotike heotor priority to court ase we need to know. Gotike without knowing their priority, khopokke we should not assume. And research etu iman bhal nahoy outcome. Outcome will be there. Research korile something which is genuine, which other people can refer. Otherwise, for the sake of degree, pori thakibo degree to pabo, kintu what would be the utility of our work? Etu olop sabo lagibo. Gotike Sangeeta rightly saying, ami bahut gold medal paisu, engineering paisu, but what is their competence? How they can adjust in the society? Manipur to bahut dekhisu. MA gold medalist hall, biya patile, bhatei banabo noare gute jiban to parita kote. Giri ekon logot kajia hol, pasor ghuri gol. Is it a good line? Just one prashno korisu. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Bulen Chutia, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Shapatgram College, to share his experience, thoughts, whatever, on this national seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for inviting me to talk something about my experiences of today's seminar. Good evening to all the dignitaries that are on the dais. Today's seminar was a good experience for me. Actually, I presented a paper on the literary representation of the freedom movement of Assam, with special reference to the tea gardens of Assam. But my paper was on the literary representation. Actually, this is a kind of fictionalization of the history, but fictionalization of history does not actually make sense to the true historians. This is why my paper was something that cannot be considered as one of the authentic documents of the history. But the historians are not doing so much work on their own part, I feel, somewhere in this particular field, because if the historians work so well, then the writers or the literary persons would definitely be spared from that particular space and all. So Arupa Patangia Kolita and all are writing about the history, writing about the untold stories of the unsung heroes. Actually, this is the part of the job of the historians. I would like to request all the historians here, as I am the students of literature. This is why I would like to request all the historians of the part of Assam that are present here, that they should take the initiative to make a kind of new history, revisiting the past in a subaltern point of view. The subaltern, the downtrodden, and all these things who are mute, who are voiceless, they are very, very important. Actually, the powerful makes the history, writes the history. The powerful writes whatever they want. This is actually should not happen. I request all the historians here, and my experience was very nice here, so I learned many things from the other presenters as well, and the resource person, Madam from Arya Vidyapith College, made very good remarks on my paper regarding all these things. So thank you very much for arranging such kind of seminar. The college has made a very good kind of initiative. This is all that I have to say. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your idea. Now, I would like to invite Madam Banashri Bharadwaj, Assistant Professor, Department of Philosophy, to deliver the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gopadastalunda. Respected Principal Dr. Bonovina Bohno Madam, respected chief guest Dr. Subung Bosumotari, newly appointed Registrar of Bodoland University, respected Vice Principal Dr. Sivu Bosak Sir, respected Professor Oinaranjit Singh Ji, respected Madam Anjali Bosumotari, respected Dr. Sudev Chandra Bosumotari, Head and Associate Professor from the Department of History, Bodoland University, and my senior and junior colleagues sitting off the dais, esteemed participants coming from different nook and corner of Kokrajhar, Assam, and from Manipur, and from other parts of India. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear student friends, I would like to take opportunity to thank Indian Council of Historical Research and Bharatiya Itihas Sankalan Samiti Assam Prant for granting financial assistance to organize this kind of national seminar on the theme The Unsung Heroes of Freedom Struggle of India, with special reference to Northern Bank of Brahmaputra. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the dignitaries present over here on the dais for making our seminar a successful one. I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the esteemed participants who have come from different corners of the country and Assam as well for participating in this seminar and making this one a grand successful. I would like to share something that as many as 12 numbers of resource persons came here, delivered their lecture, presented their wonderful deliberation, and I believe that today's national seminar in true sense actually is going to give up something. It is fruitful one. So I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all those resource persons. If I do not mention the names of organizing committees, especially the name of Dr. Sushantana Jari sir, Dr. Barungka Musari sir, Bimol Kanti Bosumotari, Dr. Gautam Musari sir, Rongili Brahmo, Suler Bosumotari, Elia, then Pifa, Joyasri, Joyanto, Dr. Sunita, all these are right from the day one, they are helping me throughout the seminar. So I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of them. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Gugu Borgari, Mr. Francis Najari sir, and the other members of technical team who have been relentlessly working behind the scene for making this program a grand successful one. So with this, I'd like to conclude my vote of thanks. But before going off the dais, I just want to request our Manik Najari to please send a message to Leon Miller, who communicated me via email that he wanted to come to this seminar and he wanted to take part in this seminar, but unfortunately he could not come. I have been knowing him since long. He belongs to Estonia University. If time permits, definitely he will come and we'll have a fruitful talk with him. Thank you very much.
So it was a lively session indeed. Now I extend my gratitude to our Honorable Principal Ma'am, our Vice Principal Sir, Oinam Ranjit Singh Sir, Ma'am, Sangeeta, Sudeb Sir, and our esteemed colleagues from Kokrajhar Govt College, and my dear students, to everyone for having such a wonderful session.